You have Patrick Findaro here, co-founder at Vetted Biz. This video is for those that maybe have gone to a Trader Joe's grocery store and thought about investing in one. Well, I hate to break this to you, Trader Joe's is not a franchise. They have a very unique business model. I go at least once a week for Trader Joe's. I love their frozen goods, and I can have that for lunches, dinners. It's a unique model because the typical grocery store is going to have 50,000 items stocked. And at Trader Joe's, it's a fraction of that, less than 10%, with the average Trader Joe's grocery store only having about 4,000 unique products. The footprint tends to be a lot smaller from some of the national chains, even compared to a Whole Foods. And what I love about Trader Joe's is they're always changing up their product. And it's really evident as they only have 4,000 or so products as opposed to 50,000 in a typical grocery store. It's very obvious to the consumer when they make those changes. So if Trader Joe's was a franchise, there'd probably be a franchise fee of about 50,000. There's another grocery store chain that charges about that. But to open, including the leasehold improvements, additional working capital, the furnishers and fixtures, the price would probably be $5 to $10 million to open up a Trader Joe's franchise. And again, unfortunately, at this time, it's all corporately owned and managed. They were founded in Southern California, not so far from Los Angeles. And it was a family company, but it was recently bought by a very big German grocery store chain, which is now operating Trader Joe's as one of their subsidiaries. One negative thing with grocery stores in general are that the margins are very tight. So if you're making, say, $1 million, where it would probably be more like $20 million a year plus with a grocery store, you can expect to only keep about 5% of that. So off $20 million, you're keeping $500,000 in net income. So that means the margins being that tight, it's so important to control the cost, including labor expenses, which have been going up in the United States. Some other brands that you might think are franchises, but actually aren't, and we've done recent videos on some of these, would include Starbucks, Walmart. There's also some healthy food or health conscious businesses that are not franchises and a lot of people want to invest in, but unfortunately you cannot open up a location in 2022. This would include Whole Foods, which is now owned by Amazon, Sweetgreen, which IPO'd a couple months back, as well as Chipotle, which was wholly owned by McDonald's at some point. They bought Chipotle, and now, well, going back 5+ years, it was spun out as its own company. And you can still buy the shares of Chipotle, but you can't open a Chipotle. They're not franchising right now in the United States for 2022. So we've done videos on these brands, as I mentioned, Chipotle, Whole Foods, Starbucks. They're great brands. For one reason or another, they chose not to expand, at least in the United States, through the franchise model. But I do encourage you to take a look at some of those other big brands and just to better study them and understand what leads to their success. If there's some franchise or business you think is a franchise you'd like us to do an analysis on, just email me at patrick@vettedbiz.com and we'll get right to it. Thanks.